If you have $1,000, is it possible to become a millionaire? Well, I'm going to give you some coins that I would look at if you had to look at a top 6 crypto, if you had $1,000 to start. But there's actually an interesting story. You guys probably already know the coin called Shiba, but there was 2 brothers. These 2 guys haven't revealed their face. I think their names are Chris and Tom, that became a millionaire. And in fact, way more than a millionaire, almost a decade billionaire. $9 million these guys hit with a $200 investment, which is crazy because you don't really see those kind of multipliers. And this just shows you what cryptocurrency can give you. Although nobody in the right mind, hopefully, thinking that they can repeat that, but you can do some serious damage. Like even just getting 100 grand out of a couple $100, that'll change probably most of you guys' life, or at least give you the head start where you can actually, get to work in the real world. And get to work could be get out of work if you hate your job in the real world. So before I give you some coins, I wanted to kind of, remind you of this story if you guys haven't heard of this. It's crazy because these 2 brothers, a wild story, with less than $200, achieved millionaire status. Now, I didn't find out if they cashed out the money. Hopefully they did, but I couldn't find the end of the story because the news article that wrote this article, it was pretty much the peak of the last run. So, I don't know. Did they hold this all the way down to shit? The good news is they got in sub 000 prices. So even right now, they're probably still, a couple $1 million in profit. So regardless, they're technically still millionaires with $200. But, we didn't really see the end of this story. So, if anybody has an update, drop it below. I'll make sure to read all the comments on this video. But here's probably what you didn't know. When the brothers first started back in 2020, they just had a go. And a few months later, they literally became millionaires, because if you look at the Shiba chart, you had the initial pump, which got them pretty much to $1 million, and then we had a big retracement, and then they would go and hit pretty much $9 million at the peak. And this happened so fast. So fast. Like nothing happened. But this was a couple of months, man, before this coin started to move. And it's crazy. So, how did this happen? And here's the story. There's a guy called James and Tommy. They rolled the dice. And I don't think they were trying to even become millionaires. They didn't really have a plan. They were just like, Shiba's hot. Let's just invest some money, right? So they didn't even have like great plans. And hopefully with us, we have great plans. So, we can do some damage. We're not going to do $200 to $9 million. I promise you that. But we can at least do some damage. And they also presented the idea to the mum, dad, and sister and a few other family members. So I think they collectively maybe invested like $400, $500, $600, give or take. It was less than $1,000. One day everything changed. I think the brother woke up and said, oh my God, the pandemic, like C-19, what happened was their business kind of went to shit. They were doing weddings, they were doing 30 to 40 weddings, obviously, a physical business, especially in person. They weren't booking weddings because guess what? Nobody was probably going to get married if you were scared of the C-19. Like they couldn't make any more money, right? And they're like, fuck, this is shit. The stimulus checks, they weren't enough to sustain them. And one of the guys said he was positive enough, but it was tough, and probably was tough for you guys as well. Some of you guys might have lost your jobs, etc. But these guys were like, F it. Shiba coin, they invested in, and it was hard to believe, and it might even be hard to believe for you guys that you can achieve this. And even me reading this story again, I remember reading this in the last run, and I was like, wait a minute, cryptocurrency is crazy, because they were filming a wedding mid-April, and they were looking at their investment. Probably a lot of us are doing that right now, especially as we get in this next bull run. I remember the last bull run vividly, brother, and it was like, I was just flicking my phone so much because it was going up, it was going down. It's kind of not a good mentality to have, because it's almost like a new addiction. If you've ever been on Instagram or TikTok and you're constantly scrolling, this is good because we're checking our money, but it's like, you could wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. for a pee, and you check your investment and you're down like me, tens of thousands of dollars, or either up hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's like, hey, if you're down tens of thousands of dollars, kind of don't want to go to sleep anymore. Kind of keeps you up at night. But if you're up tens of thousands of dollars, it's like, hey, I'll get to sleep peacefully. And you really have no control in the bull market. Yes, the trajectory is up, but you can ride these little ones down. And it is kind of tough. So I would just be aware of that as we approach the phase 2 of the bull run, as I like to say, in the next 30 to 60 days. Just be aware of that. Be aware of that. If you can keep your phone off, ideal, but it's difficult. It's very difficult. So during the wedding, they're $200 or give or take $800 with everybody starting to invest. They hit 6 figures. Crazy, right? And it kept climbing. They woke up the next morning, they said it doubled, and then it went up to 700 grand. And his brother said he was going to hit $1 million, and he kept refreshing the phone. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you're sitting on your phone right now and you got your Coinbase wallet, you got your other wallets, and you're just refreshing this, it's great when it's great, but it's not great when it's great. And then the next day they hit $1 million, and they didn't think it was real. And again, like I said, it hit $9 million at the peak of the run. Crazy. And the rest is history. And like I said, I love this story, but I also hate this story because it's the perfect combination of what it takes to achieve a millionaire status with a coin, but it's also very unrealistic. Because a lot of newbies will read this and just start chucking $200 at a random coin, and they'll think, oh, it's going to be the same, and then that coin doesn't pop off, and they'll say crypto's a scam. So I like this story because it shows you what's possible, but I hate it because a lot of guys can get misinformation about this story, right? Because I promise you, for every Shiba million X investment like you've seen here, there's 99 that don't do anything. And that can keep a lot of people out the game, or it can keep a lot of people just dumping money into random coins and just hoping for their next lottery bet. And that's what these are. These can be lottery bets, but not a lot of people win the lottery, okay? And this isn't a strategy I would use of today, but again, it just shows you in order to be lucky, you need to put yourself in the position to receive luck. Okay, so each action you do, you'll be rewarded. It's not always going to pay off, but if you're constantly grinding, you can get this kind of luck, okay? And it's a great reminder of everybody right now in this cycle of big dreams. So, I'll give you some coins, but just keep in mind, if we wanted to repeat this, we must understand this. And some of you guys will know this, but some of you guys won't. This is extremely unlikely to get this gains of a coin. It's not entirely possible, but I'm going to say, for us right now, $200, $800, you're not going to hit 9 million. You're not going to hit it, right? You're probably not even going to hit $1 million. But 6 figures out of $1,000, $500, that is fine. That if you do that, cash out, brother. Cash out. Keep 20% in, fine, but get the money out, man. You've won. Okay? But what you also must understand is you're not going to do this by buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Tron, Cardano, because the market caps are way too high. If you put $100 and to get a 10x, okay, so $100 times 10, right, 10x, the market cap of Bitcoin would have to go to 10 trillion, okay? Think about that. If we think the peak's going to be like 8 to 15, it's not going to happen. And then we look at Ethereum, 3 trillion. It's not going to happen. 26k Ethereum, it's not going to happen. So just understand that if you look at market caps, you can achieve it, but you're going to have to invest in really dumpster coins right now. Coins that are super undervalued, maybe pre-sales, and you're going to have to pray. And that's fine, but there's 3 options. Real quick. You better have another portfolio. I treat this portfolio as a side portfolio. So if you're going into the game with this as your only portfolio, you're going to waste this run completely. Let's build a decent sized portfolio, a 5 to 10k portfolio with your job. And a lot of you guys won't want to do that. And that's fine. You don't have to do that. But I would rather you guys build this as a bare minimum standard in top altcoins where you can at least hit 50 to 100k. Because that will do you nicely. But I know a lot of you guys are not going to be interested in that. And that's fine. But just try and do this, please. Just let's at least guarantee returns. So, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But if you've already did that, we can look at this lottery bet portfolio. So you've got 3 options. There's probably more options, but I would really sum this down to 3 options. Option 1, you got $1,000. You either go in one coin and you just pray. Okay? You can do a lot more damage with $1,000 in one meme coin or low AI coin or gaming coin, whatever. But it needs to hit. You need to snipe that target. If you don't, and you miss this coin, you do no damage with this and you might go to 0. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. If you have more money, okay, you take some more sniper bets and you put 1k here, 1k here, that's fine. Do that. That's a great strategy. But if you only have 1k, you better make sure it hits. You better make sure that. Option 2, I like both these options, option 2 and 3, is you spread it into 5 to 6 plays. Some will definitely hit this way. You're not going to hit a 0% hit ratio. It's very unlikely. But $100, $200, you're going to do less damage. You're going to need the initial, if you put $200 to get the $1,000, if you go in with one coin, you're going to need initial 5x just to get that $1,000. And then you're going to have to run it way more. So you really have to find a gem here. Option 3, which is not a bad play as well, you go $500 here and $500 here. So you got two sniper bullets. And again, you better hit them. You better blooming hit that target. So let's talk about coins. The first coin is not what I would recommend you invest in. But here's just another example. There's a guy called Crash Trades on YouTube. He got me into Brett. And again, with Brett, you could invest in Brett, but it's probably not going to do, it's already a $1 billion market cap. You're going to really need to run that up. And my initial taking profit strategy is 10 billion. So there's only a 10x in that. I'll ride it a little bit more, but understand that. I'm realistic now. In the last bull run, I wasn't realistic. I was looking at all these moon targets and we could get them, but just understand that. The problem with this first coin is called Bull. You can come and check it out right here. Decent website, whatever. But the problem with this coin is, what do you think the problem with this coin is right now? It's already ran up to 166 million. You know, yes, it could go in the billions. Probably will. But you've missed the initial peak. And you would be buying at unclaimed territory or local tops. So there is potentially big retracements down. Massive retracements down. So just understand that. Again, none of these coins I'm suggesting you to invest in. It's just looking at coins that are low value market caps. This one's obviously high right now. But 3 or 4 days ago, you could have already read massive returns. So you could invest in this one, you could not. It's up to you. Next one is Veracity, VRA. Don't know if you guys remember this in the last bull run. I'm looking at coins that did well in the last bull run that are still alive, if that makes sense. If you remember this last bull run, look at the gains you had. A 36,000% gain since the bottoms. Right now, this coin is still alive, but it is bleeding heavily. And this coin still has a great project, okay? These guys are really going under the POV module, block-to-block fraud industry. So again, they're really going under a super niche topic that could still go well. They've got big community members, almost 1 million people there. They've got users of 300k plus. They've got patients, 6 of them. They've got the wallet, etc. They've been mentioned on here. Don't really care about that because anybody can be mentioned here. But their community is pretty big. So this could be an undervalued gem right now at about $28 million market cap. And again, this could be a great pick. But again, if it's not, you have to be okay with that. So this is where you could maybe look at. It was a gem that did well in the last bull run. Like, so many millionaires were created off this coin. It had 2 pumps, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum and some other coins. And then it bled. But it's still alive right now. So this might be where you put the first $200, or you might just go in with the 1K. Depends what you want to do in these 3 option strategy. You have to decide where you want to do. But ideally, you have another portfolio, man. You really want to have that. So again, Veracity, still a great pick. We'll see how it does. A lot of use cases. They just need to have hype. And that reminds me of Jasmy. So I don't know if you guys are still investing in Jasmy. I never got invested in Jasmy just because I seen this chart and I was like, I'm good, bro. But as you start to zoom out, you can see in the last 7 days it's starting to come back alive. In the last year, it's doing well, almost a 6x. So Jasmy could be another play, but the problem with Jasmy is it's still a $1 billion market cap, man. So to do the 100x in this coin, you need to get 100 billion market cap. Not unrealistic, but probably not going to happen. So here's the thing. You could play this as a 50x, you could play this as a 20x, but just remember it could also not hit. And Jasmy really were trying to be, I believe, the next Bitcoin of Japan or China or whatever. Their website, to me, when I looked at this initially, was very weird, okay? Because I pulled up their website, I remember looking at this previously, and I'd just seen a map, and I was like, wait, what? This is a crypto website with just a map. I started to read all the CEOs, etc., and I got very confused. So I didn't invest in it. But right now, as you've seen in the last year or so, it's up 6x, and it's still in a great wedge. GG's called it perfectly on the week. And yeah, still could be a good investment, but just understand these are technically lottery bets. The next one is a gaming coin. I don't know if you guys remember Starred Lattice, or ATLAS. A great project. I remember their website being very good. Let me just check if that's still the case. There was a lot of hype in this with their website, etc. And again, as you start to zoom in here, the website looks very good. So they've obviously put a lot of time and effort in the website. But what these guys need to start doing, like most projects, is they need to start putting time and effort in the marketing and in the actual game. I don't know if they've got a game ready to play. It looks like they have a trailer, which Yeah, it looks good. It looks like a movie. But what these guys need to do is they need to start developing the game, okay? If you look right now, it's bleeding heavenly, but the last couple of weeks or so, if you look at the weekly candles, it's had 4 great weeks. So this coin could still come back alive. A $35 million market cap, considered cheap. But again, you look at the all-time, okay? You have to understand, does this risk/reward make sense for you? Okay, so that could be another pick, but it could also be a pick that doesn't go well. That's what you're playing with this lottery big portfolio. Again, you have a big portfolio where you're primed to make good money, and then you start looking at these ones. So, I wanted to put a meme coin on this list, like Shiba, but obviously we can't do damage with Shiba anymore because the market cap's just way too high. You'll still make money off Shiba, let's be honest, and Dogecoin. And I was struggling because I wanted to mention Brett, but I was being realistic. I was like, is Brett going to give you the 100x? No. It's not going to $80 billion market cap, $100 billion market cap. It's not. So, for you, I would like to drop your comments in the section below. What meme coin do you think has 100x potential? Seriously, 100x potential. And a lot of you guys are going to say some of these coins, but the market cap on a lot of them doesn't make that much sense. It just depends how well Bitcoin and Ethereum can do. Toshi could be a good one. Undervalued coin and base right now. Struggling, but could still be a good one. Last 7 days, it's down a big discount. But again, you buy red, you sell green. A lot of you guys might be looking at election plays, that could be good, but you're going to really have to catch a low market cap one. And then I was like, okay, what else have we got? Solana, very cheap right now, up 50% in the last week, so it's doing well. And then I started to look at Andrew Tate's coin. I believe it's called Daddy. Again, don't hold any Daddy, but it could be another pick. I think it's up 50 million, give or take, since the last checked. Yeah, 50 million. Called that spot on. And again, nothing really has much happened. It's more of a newer coin. But coins like this with big influencers, he's provident that this is going to do super, super well in the bull run. And I think it will. Down about 65% since the all-time high. Big discount. Could be a great pick. So I'm going to leave this one for you. What meme coin would you look at? Not with Shiba's return of $200 to 9 million. You're not going to catch that unless you invest in a pre-sale, etc. And you're really going to have to hold the bag for dear life. But yeah, that's the way I would do it. A portfolio, you have 3 options, but really you build up the main one. And once you can do that, you almost build like a bulletproof portfolio where you're guaranteed to print money. If you go under option 1 and you don't have the main portfolio, you better make sure it hits like those brothers. You better make sure it hits like these guys, because if it doesn't, you're going to completely waste your bull run. And you might be okay with that because you may be not that serious in cryptocurrency. But if you're serious in cryptocurrency, you need to take this phase 2 of this bull run super seriously, because you're going to miss out on so much returns, and it's going to piss you off because you're going to look at coins that you could have invested in. They're not going to give you 100x, but guaranteed X like Solana, probably ADA, probably some other coins like I believe in, like Brett, etc. But you need to understand how to build a diverse portfolio that can at least give you good returns, like a 5 to 10x. Nobody talks about the 5 to 10x anymore. It's still good gains, brother. But I can understand if you've got $200 to your name, you might not be interested in $800, $1,000 cash out, because you look at stories like this and you're like, oh, if I could just do this, I'd be set for life. And you would. But it's very hard to be able to play this off, man. I don't know anybody that's publicly played this off, bar from the very few stories you find on the internet. Just understand that.